I think this video is so good, and if it were up to me, you would watch it in its entirety the whole way through. But I realize it's kind of long, so if you have a short attention span, I'm going to be dividing it into chapters, both right here and in the description with time signatures, so you can skip to the parts you're most interested in, if that's your thing, if that's what you like to do. So chapter 1 is, what is asexuality? Chapter 2 is, what is sexless physical intimacy? Chapter 3, what is sexless kink? Chapter 4, why might an asexual person have sex? What might that look like? And Chapter 5, my favorite chapter, we actually get to see cute, adorable ace faces and ace couples and listen to them talk about how they're close and affectionate and intimate with their partners.
Hey! My name's Cooper. The hugs.
He's giggling at me.
We both are very sex positive.
Definitely watch Chapter 5. Thank you.
Just a normal girl in an ordinary world. I don't know why they laughed when I would cry.
Hello YouTube, so I'm jumping into this with total transparency. I'm sure it comes as no surprise to many of you that this is an Adam and Eve sponsorship. But don't go! This one is different than one you've likely ever seen before. I swear, I promise, I'm confident-ish in that. I do a lot of sex toy vids, and every time I do, I get comments like this.
I'm asexual.
I'm gray asexual.
I'm an asexual.
Why am I watching this?
Why am I watching this? I am in no way sexual.
Another Adam and Eve video that I care very little about.
I feel out of place.
Yeah, this isn't for me.
I can't relate.
I'm ace and I'm definitely not in the right place.
Why am I subscribed to this channel again?
I'm on the A spectrum, but for some reason I really like watching Ash's sex videos.
Fun fact, those were not paid actors. We're on a budget here at Hardell Media. Those were in fact real live aces. Second of all, thank you for that last sentiment. I put a lot of work into making my channel entertaining. Probably too much work. Gotta dial it back a couple notches. And third of all, this project is for all those commenters.
What?
What? What the heck?
For us?
Is this an asexual sexy ed video?
An asexual sex ed video?
Is this really happening?
Really?
Yeah!
Finally, a video for my people.
This is gonna be the sexiest video ever.
And I'm stoked! I honestly don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. Toys, physical intimacy, sensuality, smell, touch, play, massage, bondage, kisses, kink, and even the act of sex. These things are not just for Z-sexual folks. Some ace people are into them too.
Very true.
It's true.
So true.
Can confirm.
And today we'll explore some of the many ways that may look. Before we dive into the hardware though, let's remind ourselves what it means to be asexual. And who better to do that than a person who claims the identity themselves? Amelia?
I'm Amelia Ace. I'm an asexual, biromantic YouTuber who's identified as asexual since I was 16 years old. In simple terms, asexuality is when you don't experience sexual attraction, which kind of means you don't experience targeted sexual desire. Like a lot of gender and sexual identities, asexuality exists on a spectrum. This is because asexual people can experience their asexuality in a lot of different ways. There are a whole bunch of identities under the asexual spectrum, but the two most commonly talked about are demisexual and grey asexual. If you are demisexual, you don't experience sexual attraction until a strong emotional bond has been formed. So it could be the only person you've ever experienced sexual attraction to is your partner. Grey asexual people are people who have maybe experienced sexual attraction before, but the feeling was so weak or so rare that they fit best in the asexual spectrum. It's important to realize that sexual attraction and libido are two different things. Sexual attraction is about who you are attracted to, whereas libido is about your sex drive. Someone can be asexual and still have a high sex drive because the desire for sex or sexual contact doesn't have to be directed at someone. It's like being horny, but for no good reason. Asexual people have different levels of comfort when it comes to sex and physical intimacy. Some asexual people are turned off even by the idea of kissing, whereas other asexual people might like to sleep around or be uncomfortable with the idea of sex with a partner, but perfectly happy to masturbate. In short, it all depends on the individual, and you shouldn't assume just because someone's asexual that all physical intimacy is off the table.
Thank you, friend. So by now, it should be clear that there is no one way that all asexual people practice intimacy or have sex. Keep that in mind. However, we can look at how some ace perspectives might approach closeness and or affection, and in this video, we'll let the toys take us on this journey. These are nipple clamps. Butterfly nipple clamps. We're gonna start pretty vanilla and get progressively naughtier, just FYI. Here we go. One way ace folks might connect is simply by getting comfy and cozy together. They could participate in sexless forms of physical contact. Hand-holding, snuggles, hugs, spooning, back scratches, playing with hair. These activities can be wonderful ways to express care and fondness. And what's interesting is different people have different opinions of what is and isn't sexual. Just because society often associates something with sex doesn't mean every individual feels this way. Some people think kissing can be platonic, or making out can be sensual. So don't be too surprised if you ever find ace people smooching, or doing other things. It might also be worth noting that you can do these activities clothed, in PJs, or naked. No sex necessary. Sometimes just existing exposed and unfiltered in front of your partner or partners can be a valuable exercise in trust and vulnerability. And I really don't know what could be more intimate than a valuable exercise in trust and vulnerability. Gay! Or you can make snuggles/comfy time a production with special garments, like silky robes. Oh my gosh, I have a new look. This is my gender. Nipple clamp earrings are my gender. I kind of like this because it's not inherently super seductive like other kinds of lingerie. It's just kind of pretty and soft. I have to put my shirt back on though because wearing the robe makes my sports bra visible.
And that reminds me that I have boobs, and that makes me feel sad.
And now you can't see my sports bra anymore. You can get even more extra by setting the stage with rose petals. That touch of gold is like my aesthetic. And candles.
You live right there now.
And perfumes. These three things all came in a pack called After Dark. It's essentially like a romantic night-in kit. Albeit cheesy and cliche, these things can show your significant other that you've invested thought and effort into your time together. And you can totally enjoy these items without sex. Our culture has just socialized us to think that sex always follows elements like this. That's a construct, though. We get to write our own intimacy narrative and end it whenever and however we want. Plus, sensual attraction is totally a thing. Sensual attraction is the emotional or physical desire to engage in sensual acts with a specific person. Sensuality is a pleasure that involves the senses: sight, taste, sound, and most notably, touch and smell. It can be super enjoyable to feel silk, experience caress, smell candles, taste strawberries, listen to music or the soothing sound of your partner's voice, or view a romantic and or aesthetically pleasing bedroom. A person can derive pleasure from and or feel attracted to these things in a non-sexual way. Basically, you can titillate your senses without titillating anything else. Sometimes I feel like we forget that's an option, because media almost always shows sensuality only existing to be a part of foreplay preceding sex. It's a means to an end in a lot of the stories we consume. But again, we can totally write our own stories. That being said, there are a few instances in which we see sensuality being satisfied and represented in our world in a way that isn't always sexual. For example, massages and bath time. These activities can certainly stimulate and amuse the senses, especially if you throw in oils or the Contour M ceramic massage stone. Seriously, I made Grace use this on me and it was great. My muscles wept tears of joy. Bath time is nice because it's warm, usually naked, and you can wash each other, which is kind of a sweet partner activity. I really like going the extra mile and whipping out bath bombs, salts, bubbles, and massage wands. Again, I like this because it's maybe a little phallic, but not overtly sexual, in my opinion. It just kind of looks like it fits in with the rest of the bath set, and it's really non-threatening next to the loofah. Also, it's waterproof. Don't worry, not trying to electrocute you. Speaking of non-threatening, let's talk about this rubber ducky. Quack quack. This is where things get less vanilla, believe it or not. If you want to, you can actually pop a bullet vibe into this guy and rub him in places. We've avoided involving genitals thus far, but this is where things could change. Just because a person does not experience sexual attraction doesn't mean they don't like engaging with their parts or satisfying their libido. Or perhaps they want to pay attention to their partners in that way. I like this duck because it creates the opportunity/option to feel things out. The situation doesn't necessarily start out too intimidating or with many sexy expectations. Bath time could just be bath time, or it could go in another direction. Or just go for it and throw this thing on. Since we got a little naughty, let's roll with it and talk about Sexless Kink. This is Evie. They're gonna chat a little bit about how they navigate their ace identity and the kink/BDSM scene.
Hello everyone, my name is Evie. I am a gray A or a gray asexual, and I am part of the BDSM community. I have been doing BDSM for almost 4 years now. I primarily engage in power exchange as part of my BDSM, so I am in a DS or in a dominant submissive relationship with my partner Mr. Tex, and we do all kinds of things. We do things like puppy play, bondage, sensation play, whole range of things. And I think there's a big misconception out there that BDSM is about genital sex. It is about being able to get off, to have orgasms, it's kinky sex, it's foreplay to sex for some people, and all those things are perfectly valid, and there are definitely people who engage in BDSM for those reasons. But it's not the sole reason why somebody might want to do BDSM, because fundamentally, it isn't necessarily about getting your rocks off, it's about engaging and having a bonding experience over intense emotions and intense or taboo sensations. And it's a way that you can experience the world in a very unique way that we don't normally get to do in an everyday vanilla context, as it's called, so in everyday normal life. It can be a great way of cultivating intimacy in relationships. It can be a great way of providing service to your partner, so feeling like you are taking care of them, feeling like you are providing for their needs. And I think it's something that regardless of your sexuality, you could potentially want to do. For example, perhaps you would like to wear a blindfold. For a lot of people, this is a sexual activity, but as an asexual person, you get a lot of pleasure out of wearing a blindfold because it heightens your other senses. It heightens the feeling of, having a feather ran across your skin or having nails ran down your back, and just being able to enjoy those very unique feelings and that unique experience. Having something like a blindfold on can really heighten that. You might also really enjoy being in bondage, being tied up or wearing bondage cuffs and a collar. That can really help you feel connected to your partner, because in that moment you are relying for your partner to take care of you when you are in bondage. They are in control of where you are able to move. You can even take something like nipple clamps, which can definitely have a very significant sexual connotation to them, and use them in ways that are completely non-sexual, because really we decide what has definite sexual affiliations or not to us. So if you are using something like nipple clamps, nipples are not inherently sexual, breasts are not inherently sexual. You can just enjoy having the experience of having that unique sensation of pressure, of pain, and of release just through the use of a clamp. So if you are somebody who is asexual, don't feel like BDSM is walled off to you. There's a whole world of BDSM out there, and a whole world of people who engage in BDSM who would be absolutely thrilled to be able to play with you in completely non-sexual ways. And there are a ton of ways that you can take elements of BDSM into a relationship if you're an asexual person, in ways that don't necessarily have to have any sexual connotation to them.
That was dope. Thank you so much for sharing.
I love you.
Love you.
I miss you.
Miss you. Have fun getting your haircut.
Thank you. I'll send you a picture.
Yay! For more kinky fun, you can try Trust Me Erotic Playset, which has really cute handcuffs. I love the ribbon and the gold chain, and there's some paisley pattern here. Kissable body oil. Ooh. It's sweet. This is chocolate body powder, so you sprinkle it on your body. And then you can kiss it off. Ah! I have always wanted a feather tickler. Oh, it's so soft. Ooh! Dust plus feather equals sneeze. If you've watched any of my sex videos before, you know that I like to play games in bed. Not manipulative mind games, just playful games. So if you want to play with power dynamics and or giggle a lot and or try new things, that's kind of what I like. You could try these Kama Sutra erotic play cards. They give you different positions with illustrations and then directions for different places to touch with the different things in this kit. Play some games, tickle some things, lick some dust. And again, doesn't have to end in sex, or even be sexual. It can just be kinky and or exploratory, or a way to spend a Sunday afternoon. So far we've explored how some ace folks might get close, cuddly, sensual, and kinky. Finally, let's look more closely at why an asexual person might actually have sex, either with themselves or with others. Milo?
Hi, I'm Milo Stewart, and I use they, them pronouns. My identity is a little bit complicated. I have claimed the identity of asexual for many, many years, but I also enjoy the sec. Most of the time, out in my actual life, I use the term bisexual if I'm asked to describe my sexual orientation. But more privately, those close to me know that my sexual orientation and my sexual life in general is really complicated. I do have sex somewhat regularly, but I experience sexual attraction extremely infrequently. And further complicating my sexual identity is that I am also a sexual assault survivor. Everyone responds to and deals with trauma differently, but for me, it makes sex extremely difficult. Sometimes I might be horny, but not have the spoons to masturbate or have the sex. A lot of times I can't tell if sex is difficult for me because I'm on the A spectrum or because I have a history of trauma. And a large part of grappling with my sexuality has just been realizing that my identity is probably influenced by both aspects. While a lot of A spectrum people may find it is more comfortable to masturbate, I find that it is harder for me to not dissociate or have other effects of trauma while masturbating. Being able to share my sexuality with my partner has been really nice because just having someone close to me who makes me feel safe can help me stay grounded in my body, even if I'm just using toys on myself and my partner doesn't even touch me. And then maybe in that moment my partner will make out with me or will like caress some non-sexual part of my body. That's real nice. Other aces might enjoy sex even if there is only one other person in the world they've ever wanted to have sex with. And others still might just engage with sex to please a partner or because they just want to get off and someone happens to be around. There's many different ways and reasons to engage with sex even if you are asexual.
And to wrap things up, here are some other cute ace faces talking about how they get intimate and or affectionate with their persons.
My name's Cooper, I'm pan-aromantic asexual, and for me, being intimate is more about being emotionally present and, just showing that you're there for someone and that you're going to listen to them and always respect them, which is one of the most important things to me, is to always have your identity validated no matter how you're acting that day. Like, if I am more physical, still respect the boundaries that I told you yesterday, because I'm probably still going to be the same.
Hi, I'm Asher. I'm Sade, and I don't really know where I identify on the A spectrum. And then I basically just identify as asexual. We really like just to hold hands and...
You like holding hands. I don't as much.
You don't like holding hands.
It's okay.
We're learning things. For us, showering is very intimate and non-sexual.
It's just like being close with your body and then you being familiar with my body, but in a way that there's not any pressure to do anything. Like, you're kind of more into sex than I am, but I'm more like physically affectionate than you are. And then so it's like the reverse of what you think would happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it just ends up that like I'm cuddling you and forcing you in bed, but just to cuddle.
And then I'm like, but. Hey. Because of our height difference, I like coming up behind you and just kind of like.
Oh, true. Yeah, I like that too.
The hugs. Because you're little.
Hey, I'm Jay, I'm demisexual, and so is my boyfriend who's currently asleep behind me. Some of the asexually sort of ways that we like showing intimacy towards each other is by cooking together, domestic things like showering, napping, we do our homework together, we play a lot of video games together, we like doing art and arty sort of things together. I paint lots of pictures of him, draw him a lot. Here's a painting I did of us like snuggling because I think he's pretty, so he's like my muse. We wear matching rings, he's giggling at me, we wear matching rings, and we do this to each other a lot, which is American Sign Language for I love you, and that's a really cute non-verbal way of expressing affection.
Hey, I'm Morgan, and I use they, them, or she, her pronouns, and I identify as gray asexual and bi. Bi as in biromantic, but on the rare occasion that I do feel sexual attraction, it can be to any gender. I can probably count on my fingers the total number of times I've had sex with my partner. I really enjoy holding hands. I think that's my favorite thing. Cute little kisses, making breakfast for each other, doing chores for each other, sleeping together is super important to me, not just in the sex way, but in the falling asleep way. So there are a lot of ways to build intimacy and trust without necessarily having sex, although when we do have it, we enjoy it because we like being together.
Hi, I'm Danny, I'm grey asexual, and this is my girlfriend, Kellen.
Hello.
Now, what ways are we intimate with each other?
We kiss, we cuddle, we sleep together in the same bed.
And also we have long, deep conversations sometimes, which makes me feel quite close to you.
I don't know, I mean, we live together, which is already quite intimate.
Yeah.
And I mean, I tolerate them. They're alright. Yay! I love you. I love you too.
Hello, my name's Sophia, and I'm a demisexual.
TJ, and I am gray sexual. We both are very sex positive and have a really active sex life. But if one or both of us decided that it wasn't something we wanted to do anymore, we would just stop and it wouldn't have any effect on our relationship whatsoever. Physical touch, however, is actually really important to us, like holding hands and kissing and cuddling.
Also really important is having honest conversations with each other.
About everything and anything.
Really? That's just
That's
us.
it. That was dope! Thank you so much for sharing. If you were interested in any of the products you saw in this video, you can go to adamandeve.com and use the discount code ASH to get 50% off almost any single item and free shipping on orders of more than $20 in the United States. Asterisk, certain exclusions apply. I don't know what that means, but I had to say it. So I said it. Okay, cool. I hope you liked this. I loved it. I had so much fun making it. Please go check out the cute ace faces in the description below, and I'll see you later. Okay, bye.
Hair. He picks at my skin all the time. This is the way we're intimate.
Hey Ash, my name is Tori, and I'm super awkwardly recording this in a Target fitting room.
Hi, I'm from the other side of the pond. My hamsters are making a freaking noise, but they're freaking cute, so it makes up for it. But you're about to watch possibly the most embarrassing thing I've done.